Good morning, everybody. My name's Adam. This is my 2022 Cayman. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. I'll do a quick walk around. This is shark blue over red and black interior with the red calipers. And you'll notice something, if the astute Porscheophile out there may notice these rims. They're actually a factory mistake. They're solid black. This rim is supposed to have a brushed aluminum outline around the rim and around the spokes. And this one came from the factory wrong, which is really funny because I actually emailed my dealer and asked if they can make it all black for me. Of course, he said, no, they can't do that. So this is the GTS and GTS package. And I'm going to talk more about that as we go. So this is the 718 Cayman GTS 4.0. So the 718 was a name that was started with the 982 Cayman series. Porsche switched to the 718, which was a throwback to the 718 from the I think that was the late 50s, early 60s. And it's funny because they switched to that to make Boxster and Cayman one line, and then just a coupe and a convertible. But everyone still calls it the Cayman and the Boxster. But and they switched to a 4-cylinder, and of course all the Porsche folks hated that. But the original 718 was a 4-cylinder. So people didn't like that, but the original, like I said, it was the 550, James Dean's car, and then you had, I believe, after that was the 718, and those were 4-cylinders. They were very, very good mid-engine, very good in the racing. They did very well, and but everybody from Porsche and all the fans hated it because it was a 4-cylinder. They said, "Oh, it's not Porsche; it should be a flat 6." But the funny thing about that is, originally they were 4-cylinders. So, in response to the fans, I guess, Porsche came out with the GTS, and the GTS had the flat 6, which is what this is. And the name GTS actually came from the next series of Porsche, which was the 904. That was, I think, early 60s, early to mid 60s. And so that's what they gave the name on this. It was GTS Gran Turismo Sport. And the idea behind that was it was a race car for the street. So a little bit of luxury. Which is really what the difference is between this and the GT4, which is really just a pure track car. A little bit of suspension difference, front ends from a GT3 on that one, and about 20 more horse at a higher RPM. Whereas this is a little bit more of a street car because of the extra luxuries. So like I said, this is the GTS, gives you the GTS package, chrono. I love it. I bought it brand new. It's shark blue. Brand new color for this car this year. Shark blue, of course, introduced on the 992 GT3 the year before. And so I'm not new to Porsche. I grew up 70s and 80s, so I was a muscle car guy. Had Mopars, a lot of Pontiacs, always a muscle car guy. But yet, I love sports cars. Small, good handling, quick sports cars. So I kind of go back and forth between those two, and I've had a lot of different ones. So I always wanted a 911. Everybody says, "Oh, Porsche, you gotta have a 911." So I wanted an old air-cooled 911. So I started looking at 911s again, I don't know, 10 years ago. Drove one, wasn't what I remembered. I guess just not really modern driving car anymore. And I didn't love it. Got myself, at a dealership, I test drove a 996, which is a huge leap forward in driving technology, and bought it. So I had a 1999 996 original factory Aero car, and I liked it. Very unique car, unique build, and I really liked it. But as I was driving it, as I got to know it, I did not love the way the 911 drove. Particularly the steering was just too light and floaty for me. And I finally got into my mindset that the way to drive that was, think of it as a small, powerful motorboat, where the power and the steering all comes from the rear. And then you can kind of aim for a spot on the horizon, and that's how you drive. But I didn't really ultimately love it, so I sold that. And I've had Shelby Cobra replicas, I've had a GT350, I've had GTOs, I've had a lot of different things. And I wanted to get back into a Porsche again. So I started looking at mid-engine. And looked at Boxsters, looked at Caymans, deciding between a base and S. Do I buy a slow car, drive a slow car fast, or a fast car slow on the street? And my friend Andy convinced me, step up to the GTS, get the 6-cylinder. It'll actually cost you less in the long run because the resale value is so good on it. Chris, that only works if you actually sell it. And I have to tell you, I may never sell this. This car is probably one of the best all-around handling cars ever, certainly that I've ever owned, and probably that I've ever driven. And like I said, I GT350s, Shelby, BMWs. This thing is unbelievable. So with that mid-engine basically strapped to my back here, it's just incredible. You come around a really hard turn, and it almost feels like the car mid-turn will stop, reset itself, and leave the apex. And that's the Porsche torque vectoring. So it's got the limited slip rear, the torque vectoring, the PADM, the engine mounts, sport suspension, and it's just incredible the way it handles in and out of turns. You know, that 911 was always in slow, out fast, and believe me, I've been behind 911 GT3s in my GT350 and watched them just hunker down and launch out of a turn. This is going to give you just about the same thing, except that the entire way around the turn, it feels like the car is atop, spinning, and you're right in the center of that. And we'll go back and I'll talk less and you'll listen to the car more. So this car in particular, like I said, Shark Blue, first year they offered it. Came out Shark Blue on the GT3 the year before. And bought it sight unseen, the color. And I love it. These cars come equipped in the exhaust, sport exhaust, but they have the GPF, the gas particulate filter, which really kind of muffles it. It's also got the sport exhaust, so it's got a valve. So stock, I was not pleased with it. Before I even took delivery, I replaced the GPF with over-the-axle pipes, which just, those GPS filters don't do anything in the USA anyway, they're not even monitored. So just that one change in pipes is unbelievable sound. And then I put the car graphic valve controller in so you can hear that exhaust, and I can have it open all the time if I want, or I can switch it closed if I'm talking on the cell phone. Rev match is really nice. I never would have thought that I would have liked it so much. It's just really enjoyable. The OAP pipes on the exhaust give it 6 extra horse. So the 394 horsepower, I can honestly say it's now 400. And the car is just incredible. If you have the means, I highly recommend one. As Ferris would say. Alright, I'm going to shut up and we'll enjoy the car. on the way back. Trying to keep up in his M3.